As the Stargate franchise expanded from its flagship TV series to multiple spin-offs, the show's production design created different looks for the iconic Stargate. It made sense, seeing as how Stargate SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, and Stargate Universe were all set in different galaxies. And more practically, the show's creators wanted casual viewers to be able to tell at a glance which series they were watching. But there's also some really interesting differences between these three types of Stargates within the Stargate universe, including how they operate. Let's look at the three different types of Stargates from the three television series, and longtime viewers may know that in fact there have been a total of 6 different types of gates shown on screen so far. Stay tuned to the end for more about those. Inside the Stargate universe, the technology was first devised by a race called the Alterans many millions of years ago. When the group emigrated from their home galaxy to the Milky Way, the Stargate was just a draft idea thought up by an Alteran scientist named Amelius. This is seen in the 2008 movie Stargate: The Ark of Truth. The Alterans came to our galaxy and would eventually come to be known as the Ancients. Eventually, the technology was developed, improved, and perfected, and gates were placed on thousands of worlds throughout the Milky Way. These are the standard red chevron gates we know from the original Stargate feature film and from Stargate SG-1. The Milky Way gates have 9 chevrons, but only utilize 7 of these for a standard address. They can dial to any other gate within the Milky Way, so long as its address is known. 6 points triangulate the location of a destination in 3-dimensional space, and the 7th symbol serves as the point of origin, to chart a course from one Stargate to another. An 8 chevron address requires significantly more power, but can dial a Stargate in another galaxy. And the 9th chevron, we'll come back to that one. Normally, the Stargate is dialed by means of a dial-home device, or DHD. This device allows for rapid push-button dialing, and it also provides the gate with its power source. On Earth, Stargate Command does not utilize a DHD. Instead, a specially engineered supercomputer interfaces with the gate, interpreting the gate's various signals and allowing for dial-out. Special power systems feed the Stargate's power requirements through direct current to the gate's superstructure. When the gate is sufficiently powered, the inner track unlocks and can spin freely. Without a DHD or dialing computer, it can even be dialed manually, with a bit of elbow grease. As the gate dials an address, the inner ring spins in one direction until the chevron locks one symbol into place. The inner track then reverses direction, proceeding one symbol at a time like a combination lock. When a valid address is completed, an unstable energy vortex co-whooshes outward, before settling into an event horizon leading to a stable wormhole that connects 2 gates. But you'll notice when watching the show that the inner track only spins at Stargate Command, never on an off-world gate. The chevrons of the off-world gates only light up and don't move. There's a practical production reason for that. The Stargate prop, of course, was very expensive to build and maintain. The show had 2 of them, and the gate used for location filming was moved around every week, so it was smart to make sure it didn't have all the moving parts. The Ancients or their allies also placed an unknown number of these gates beyond our galaxy. The first time Earth successfully dialed an 8 chevron address, Jack O'Neill visited the Asgard planet Othala in the galaxy of Ida. Thor also presumably used the Stargate to bring Samantha Carter to his home planet when it was under threat by the Replicators. When the Ancients suffered from a galaxy-wide plague, they eventually moved their advanced civilization from Earth to the Pegasus galaxy. Operating from the city of Atlantis, this group of Ancients, the Lanteans, seeded hundreds of worlds in this untouched corner of the universe with human life. As these newborn civilizations continued to evolve over millions of years, the Lanteans developed a brand new Stargate network for Pegasus. The gates on Stargate Atlantis have distinctly blue chevrons, part of Brad Wright's original pitch to Sci-Fi Channel for the spin-off. These Stargates are newer and more modern than Milky Way gates. Even on the main set, there was no spinning track or moving chevrons. Instead, a panel of lights inside the gate illuminate in a rotating pattern, giving the illusion of the same combination lock dialing procedure. If the SG-1 gates are analog, the Atlantis gates are very much digital. As a security measure, the Lanteans limited these new Stargates so that only the gate in Atlantis could dial the 8 chevron address back to Earth. A unique control crystal was required to enable this functionality, though the crystal could be moved to a different Pegasus Stargate. Without that crystal, it may be that the Pegasus gates were deliberately limited to not be able to dial any 8 chevron addresses at all. Aside from the visual aesthetic, there's one other big difference with these more digital Stargates. The ancients had since developed small ships capable of flying through a gate and traversing the wormhole, the puddle jumper. So when they built out the Pegasus network over millions of years, they were no longer limited to putting a new Stargate on the surface of a planet. So in this galaxy we see our first space gates, which instead float free in orbit of the planet. Residents of these planets would obviously not be able to use the Stargate to explore and trade with other worlds. The space gates are also effectively locked to Lantean use, since there is no open dialing mechanism here. Travelers needed a puddle jumper to be able to dial an address when on approach to the gate. Of course, eventually the Wraith overcame this by creating darts, which themselves could dial a Stargate. Without a DHD, space gates also needed a different source of power. This is provided by 3 power nodes, attached to the outer edge of the Stargate at 120-degree intervals. This gives the space gates a cool and totally unique look. Atlantis premiered in 2004, and at this point, digital effects were getting better. In fact, the location Stargate was replaced with a computer-generated image. The crew didn't have a full location Stargate to film. You can often spot this when the gate is shot straight on with a fixed camera angle, making it look a bit two-dimensional. The Stargate is seen at a distance in establishing shots in Season 1, and in later years we got Stargates partially buried in the ground rather than erected on some sort of pedestal, something SG-1 usually didn't even try with their physical prop. A physical segment of 1/3 of the Pegasus Stargate was eventually built though. It's first seen in the 5th season episode The Shrine, when the team is sitting on top of it after the valley where the gate is located has flooded. You can also look for this gate segment in later episodes mixed in with CG shots of the full Stargate. So what about the third model of Stargate, the black and white gates from Stargate Universe? SGU debuted in 2009 with another brand new look for the iconic prop. But in this case, these gates aren't newer, fancier models, they're evidently much older than both the Milky Way and Pegasus gates. The ancients launched Destiny millions of years ago, and with it, a means for the crew to acquire food, water, and other much-needed supplies. Destiny itself was launched unmanned, and it stayed empty for eons, until an Earth research project cracked the code for the Stargate's 9th chevron. The 19 chevron address was found in Atlantis' database, and allowed a team to dial directly to Destiny, now millions of light years from Earth, seeking the secrets of the universe. But a cargo ship is way too big to fly through a standard Stargate, so either the segments get bigger after exiting the Stargate, or the production designers are just cheating. 6 different Stargates, spanning the known universe. Which Stargate design is your favorite? What should the Stargate look like in a 4th television series? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Head over to gateworld.net to explore more about the history of the Stargates. Subscribe to the channel now and enable alerts to make sure you see all the latest videos from Gateworld.